Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. I welcome you all to this session of the daily quiz. It's a place where we practice the most important topics from the day's newspaper and the PIB from the prelims examination point of view by converting these topics into relevant questions that may be asked by the UPSC. Also reminding you, we are right here for you if you need any help in your UPSC preparation. In case you need a one-on-one counseling session with our experts, all that you need to do is make sure that you click on the link given in the description of the video. You will find a Google form link. Give us all your details and one of our experts will get in touch with you as soon as possible to have a one-on-one counseling session. Apart from that, there is one more extremely important announcement. We have a very important workshop coming right here for you, especially those who are seriously preparing to write the 2024 examination. This is the time where you need to plan the last 100 days before the prelims examination comes in front of you. So how to utilize the last 100 days, how to make the best possible plan, this is what we'll be discussing in this workshop. It will be at 6 p.m. live only on the BYJU'S Exam Prep app. If you have not downloaded the app, please do that right away. The link to register for this workshop is given in the description of the video. Remember, it's on 17th of Feb, Saturday evening, 6 p.m. Now let's begin with the first question. The CACP recommends the MSP based on the formula A2 plus FL and the government eventually declares the same. Here A2 plus FL refers to what? First, paid out cost plus the inputted value of family labor. Second, only input cost of the farmers. Third, paid out cost plus inputted family labor and the rental value of the owned land and the interest on the fixed capital. Fourth, none of the above. Now, as you know, there are protests going on by multiple farmer groups who are trying to march towards Delhi. They are demanding a legal guarantee of the MSP, which is why the topic is in the news. With respect to the MSP, there are two things that usually remain in the news: A2 plus FL and C2. A2 plus FL is a formula that the government uses to decide the MSP. This is actually A. When they say A2 plus FL, what they mean to say is the cost of the input, that is the seed and the soil, the fertilizers that they are using, and you add to that the cost of the labor of the family who is cultivating it. Farmers, on the other hand, want the MSP to be calculated on the basis of C2. This is C2. They also want the rental value of the land to be added to this and then give a 50% margin to the farmers. That is a farmer's demand, but the government usually decides the MSP based on this. That is A. This is A2 plus FL. So the answer here would be A. This is why we are asking this question. The MSP of the wheat exceeds a farmer's production cost plus 50% as per the data. Whatever the government has already been given out to the farmers is actually more than what the farmers are demanding. This is what the data shows. Next, question number 2. Consider the following statements with regards to INSAT. First, the INSAT system initiated with the launch of INSAT 1B in August 1983, following the earlier unsuccessful INSAT 1A launch in April 1982. Second, the system facilitated the rapid extension of TV and modern telecom services to remote regions and offshore islands. Third, INSAT data is used to monitor crops and assess their health. And fourth, INSAT satellites help locate distressed vessels and individuals. Now, ISRO has been extremely proud of its INSAT system. So, INSAT system is a group of various satellites coming together to serve multiple purposes. All these mentioned here are true. The first ever launch of INSAT satellite was unsuccessful. It was in April 1982. The first successful launch was INSAT 1B, August 1983. It is responsible for expanding the coverage of television in India. It can be used for crop health monitoring and also to locate distressed individuals. The correct answer here would be D. All the four here are absolutely correct. ISRO will now be launching INSAT 3DS on the Feb 17th. This satellite will weigh about 2,274 kilograms and is funded by Ministry of Earth Sciences. Next, question number 3. Consider the following statements with regards to Fatehpur Sikri. Number 1. It was founded in 1569 by the great Mughal Emperor Akbar, and from 1571 to 1585, it was a capital of the Mughal Empire. Second, the Mughal capital was moved to Delhi in 1586 because of Fatehpur Sikri's inadequate water supply. And third, it was designated UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1996. how many of these are correct. If you look at these statements, first and the second are correct. Third one is wrong. It was actually back in 1986 itself that it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The answer here is B, 22 are correct. The reason why we're discussing this is because there's a short editorial written in the Indian Express newspaper where the author is praising the Fatehpur Sikri Fort Monument, saying that 95% of this is actually wheelchair accessible. The author is noting the fact how most places in India, even the historical places where you see a lot of tourists going in, are not wheelchair accessible. Means people on a wheelchair will not be able to access it. Maybe the Fatehpur Sikri city can set an example for other places now to learn from that. Next, question number 4. With reference to WTO, which of the following best defines Cairns Group? Number 1. It's a group of agriculture exporting nations lobbying for agricultural trade liberalization. Second, it's a group of agriculture importing nations lobbying for agriculture trade protectionism. Third, group of nations opposing least developed nation status, or none of the above. Cairns Group is actually the first one. So it's a group comprising of multiple countries which include Australia. There are countries such as Brazil, there is Argentina and others. These are the countries that export a lot of agricultural commodities around the world. So they want that agricultural trade between different nations should be easier. Also, they don't want countries to have their own food public stock holding program. Many of these countries criticize India, that India is giving a lot of subsidy to the farmers. They think it's distorting international trade. So this is the group that usually speaks up against India. The answer here is A. As you can see in this news of the Indian Express, India again faces WTO pressure on farm subsidies, mainly from the Cairns Group, which is a group of 19 agro-exporting countries. As you can see here, it includes countries such as Australia, Brazil, even Canada is a member here. Next is a previous year question from 2015 from Modern History. With reference to Rowlatt Satyagraha, which of the following statements is or are correct? Number 1. The Rowlatt Act was based on recommendations of the Sedition Committee. Second, in Rowlatt Satyagraha, Gandhiji tried to utilize the Home Rule League. Third, demonstration against the arrival of the Simon Commission coincided with the Rowlatt Act. Now, if you have read Modern History, it's an easy question to answer. You can easily eliminate the third one. The timeline is very different. Simon Commission came in 1928 while Rowlatt Satyagraha was 1919. So there's a big gap between the two. That is not how the history is. So the first and the second statements are correct. The answer here has to be B. There was no overlap of Simon Commission and the Rowlatt Satyagraha. Simon Commission was a very delayed response to the Rowlatt Satyagraha. First and second statements are correct. This is the explanation of the Sedition Committee. Sedition Committee in fact was chaired by Sir Sidney Rowlatt. That is why it was called the Rowlatt Act. Next, we have a fact of the day, and today there is no bigger news around the entire media in India than the inauguration of the BAPS temple in Abu Dhabi. BAPS, as you know, here stands for Akshar Purushottam Swami Narayan Sanstha. So it's an organization that has built and manages several temples around the entire world. If you live in Delhi, you would have heard of the famous Akshardhan temple. The Akshardham temple in Delhi is run and built by this organization only. There was similar kind of a temple in Gujarat as well, that is in Gandhinagar. Then there are temples at places like London, Houston, Atlanta, etc. Now this temple that has been constructed in Abu Dhabi, it's the first temple of its kind because it's the first temple in the Middle East. Now it's extremely significant. Abu Dhabi, an Islamic country, allowing a huge temple to be built, which also indicates the growing closeness between India and Abu Dhabi. It's a temple built in Nagara style, that is the North Indian style of temple architecture. It has 7 shikhars which represent the 7 emirates of the UAE. The cost of this temple is close to 700 crore rupees, and the pink sandstone used here has been taken from Rajasthan, where the interiors are made using Italian marble. It also has something called a wall of harmony, one of the largest 3D printed walls in the UAE, and it has the word harmony written over it in different languages. The Prime Minister who was here in the inauguration ceremony said that this is a symbol of harmony between different communities in the country. There are 96 bells and gommukhs installed around the path which lead to the temple, which is a tribute to the 96 years of life lived by Pramukh Swami Maharaj. This is an important news. Do read about it from the prelims examination point of view. This brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day ahead. Bye bye. Jai Hind.